Okay, I think we've got a few viewers now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to explain why we're here. And oh, Scotty, hello, how are you? I'm just going to be talking about the shit we usually talk about, Scotty. It's just I'm going to be doing it live because this is part of my midlife crisis experiment. So I'm just describing what this guitar is doing and what I've got going on here. And there's sort of a classic sort of Les Paul combination, which is that 59 in the neck and the Jeff Beck in the bridge. And I was lucky enough to get a guy in Dublin to make me a set that kind of go after that with just a few little tweaks so it suits this guitar a bit better. And in addition to that, I've had another couple of mods made to it. So the first thing I did to it is I put this trem arm on it, and this is called a Les Trem by Duesenberg, and this is really cool because, as regular viewers will know, this is all about Brian May and my channel because it's my my night job, impersonating Brian May. And what I've is it's not permanent, it's just easily reversible. So basically what I have here is a tailpiece that's been replaced with the trem. So basically tailpiece came off the Les Paul, trem went on, job done. So I'll just show you what the rest of this crazy guitar is doing. So here's the secret sauce. There's a company called Freeway in the UK, and they make guitar switches, yawn. Except this one isn't yawn, this one is reasonably exciting. This one, where a normal Les Paul switch has 3 slots on it, or 3 positions, has 6. So that was the first part of this crazy project, is a 6-way switch, which sounds kind of saucy. But in any case, I wanted to be able to unlock the potential of these pickups in their fullest. So when you get one of these guitars, you find that you can have that on its own, those two together, and that on its own. But there's so much more you can do with it. And one of the first mods that happened to this guitar, or these type of guitars, was someone had the great idea of putting a volume knob dedicated just to this pickup here. Now I've taken this way further than that, and even further, I think, in a more useful sense than what Jimmy Page did in his signature model. So I'll explain what's going on. Each of these is now a switch, so I can push that up and pull it, or pull it up and push it down, and it can do something. So what does it do? Well, these 3 are volumes for each of these, so you can blend each of them in depending on how it's switched. But also, I can split them into single coils, and that was the thing I really, really wanted out of a Les Paul, is the ability to do that in a convincing way. It was a standard thing on some of the standards years ago, but it didn't really kind of work with the pickups that they have. So these pickups are built to be tapped. So in other words, they'll make sense when I flip them into single coils. And the tone control is now master tone control. And what it does is, when I pull that up, is it puts the middle out of phase. So let's have a look and hear what that type of stuff sounds like. So this is just a neck pickup, and I have the Fender Tone Master Pro on the floor here, and it's going after a Marshall Plexi kind of sound. So typical humbucker sound. Meaty, thick, warm, woolly, just a real nice sound. Now, what I'm going to do now is pull that up, and that makes it a single coil. It doesn't sound like a Strat, and I know there's a lot of stuff on the internet about how the pickup is what makes the sound of the guitar. I don't really believe that to be true, because this is solid mahogany all the way through, whereas Strat, would be made out of alder, and it's much more resonant and lighter, springy kind of wood. If it was just the pickup to make the sound, this would sound exactly like a Strat, but it does sound a bit like a Strat. What I'll do now is I'll just goose down the volume a little bit. So this is single coil still, and just a lower volume. A bit more volume than that. I should really only play songs I know, but you get the idea. It has that like sort of springy, sort of clean sound. So let's see what else we can do. When I move this over here, I'll have both of these pickups on. And when I do this and that, both of those are single coils. And then when I do this, they're single coils and they're out of phase with each other. So what does that mean? they're being out of phase. Usually, when you select two pickups on the Les Paul, the two of them are added to each other. But by putting one out of phase, you're taking the sound of one from the other. So it actually is a much reduced sound. So these are these two, and this one is out of phase, and they're both single coils. So you hear it's much brighter straight away. And I was going to knock that delay off there. It's a little bit distracting. So it's a bit nearly like a Telecaster at this stage. Real nice and twangy, which can be great for rhythm work. So if I actually just turn down the volume of them a little bit just to clean them up, like again, you get that sort of percussive type of clean sound. Which is really, really cool. And again, though, when you put on a lot of gain and put them on full volume, you get a very, sorry, yeah, I'll do that a lot in this live stream where I'll forget where I was. But if I put on a lot of gain and a bit of volume, you get a very, very cutting and piercing lead sound. So that's pretty cool. And of course, if I put them back into humbuckers and into series again, I get the two of them together, which you can't get on a normal 3 pickup Les Paul, which is a very, very juicy sound. Now, I don't have a slide to hand, or do I? Some piece of child debris around here that works on. No, I don't. But this particular setting works great with a slide because it just gets the high end very rounded, which makes the slides sing very, very well. So moving along, I'm just bringing down this. So this is just at this stage a regular bridge humbucker sound, which is awesome because it's going after that Jeff Beck pickup. Lots of sustain. Really cool. As a single coil though, quite different. Just really sort of, you know, pushing the boat out. Now, what I'm going to do now, just to show you the full gamut of this thing, is I'll just turn off the overdrive and the delay, and I'm going to put all three of them on. So this is all three of them as humbuckers. There's a really cool kind of rhythm sound. It's a little bit more cutting than just the neck pickup on its own. But now if I put the middle out of phase, and they're all humbuckers still, not a very typical Les Paul sound. And if we also just make them all humbuckers, sorry, they were all single coils, sorry, this is them all humbuckers now. Back into phase. It's a bit like playing two guitars at the same time. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, Breno, absolutely Dublin. North Inner City Dublin to be precise. And not quite got the accent around here though, but I grew up in Kilmainham, so that's my excuse. Okay, so that's what this guitar is doing. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm going to play a bit of blues for you now with a backing track that I made recently, a bit of E minor blues. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle through some of the positions and just explain on the other side of what this thing is doing in terms of the sound. I have a Fender Tonemaster Pro. It's on the floor. I'm not wearing any shoes or socks, so I'm not going to put a camera on it because nobody needs to see my bare, hairy feet trouncing around it. But it's basically going after a Fender Plexi, and it has a fake clon or virtual clon in front of it, and just a little bit of tape echo, so it's that type of sound. So we'll roll the track, and please forgive me for my crap improvisation skills. Neck on its own, single coil. Now this is a single coil bridge. This and this as single coils. And out of phase. Okay, back as humbuckers. All three of them. And then this and this. Yeah, so that's what the guitar does. Thanks, Bruno. Yeah, so I mean, it's a bit of a nerdy one because we're talking about why it sounds deadly, you know, and it's not me, it's this wonderful guitar. But look, that's what's going on. And I have a whole YouTube channel full of this type of midlife crisis nonsense. So if you want to learn more about why I did this and different uses for it and some guitar technique, you can click over there and subscribe. If anyone has any questions about, oh, stable is the trem. Scotty, that trem is fine. It's utterly fine. It's great. I mean, the thing that makes it stable though, and as a builder you'll know this, is that these 2 points where the string has gone over the nut and where it goes over the bridge are lubricated. So in other words, this is not a typical Les Paul bridge. I'll just bring it a bit closer. So I don't know if you can see that they're black. Usually they're brass on the Les Paul, and the reason why those are black is that they're made out of graphite, same stuff that goes into a pencil, and that lets the string sort of slip over this very easily, which is great. And the nut itself is a new bone nut, and that's not bone, it's also some form of graphite or some sort of compound. So what happens is the strings slip over those pretty easily. What I would like to do with this thing next is I just have regular Grover tuners. Are they Grover? Or whatever they are, tuners. I'd love to get locking tuners because that's the last place where the trem can actually cause issues. But the trem itself always returns to point number one when it's used. And it's kind of a design feature of it because they built it in such a way that it doesn't travel far, purely because I'm sure that this type of design without counter springs in the back or whatever wouldn't work if you were to have a huge range. But you can hear how far it goes down now. I'll just play a note and drop it. So it's not very far, but it works, you know. Cheers, Bruno. Yeah, Graphtech is the fella. It's just great stuff. And what had happened was I literally, every time I get a Les Paul, the first thing I do is put them into it because it's not just the string slippage. If you don't have a trem on a guitar, the tuning stability in general is enhanced by it. But the other thing that's great about them is that strings don't break. You know, there's no sharp points with them. And you'll find a lot of people when they break strings a lot in the Les Paul, it's snapping down here because they haven't filed those particular spots and they've gone a little bit gnarled and there's some steel bit that's causing the thing to snap. But Graphtech doesn't do that. It always keeps its shape, and if the string bores it down, eventually it will bore it down, but it took 10 years on this, because I only replaced these recently, to get right down to the end. Then you have a problem, but they cost not a whole lot, and to be honest, the brass ones will have done the same by then as well, and the strings would have been broken. Breno, yeah, I'm playing in a Queen tribute band called Queen, Queen with a W, Queen, and we're gigging all over the Republic of Ireland, up the north on occasion, and soon we'll be doing a bit in the UK. But it's a really cool show if you like Queen. If you don't like Queen, you're in for a very long night. Yeah, sharp bridges is exactly it. Yeah, no, that's the danger. There's no sharp bridges here though, so that's why it keeps it cool. And I haven't broken a string on it since I got it back, and I've been playing it a lot. But I don't usually break strings anyway because I don't think I hit it as hard as other people. But I always am very careful as to what's going on there and there because, you know, this is where it goes wrong if it's going to go wrong anywhere, I suppose. You know. Okay, so that's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining me in this experiment, and hopefully I'll see you along the line, and we'll try this again sometime when I've got something substantial to say. I'm going to knock this off, but while I'm doing that, I'll treat you to a view of my balcony. Ta-da! I'm going to fumble with this for about 10 minutes till I figure it out. Oh, here we go. Cheerio, folks.